Dear Dr. Becky, I've been noticing that my mind keeps telling me things that make me feel worse about myself, like I'm not good enough, I'll never catch up, or everyone else has it figured out but me. Deep down, I know some of these thoughts might not be true, but they feel so real in the moment. How do I know when my mind is lying to me, and how can I stop falling for it? Shelly.
Hey there, Mind Explorers. This is Becky here, and I'm excited to really address this topic from Shelly, as you just heard. Shelly, your question is just a perfect lead in to what so many people have experienced. The fact of the matter is, our thoughts can be master manipulators. The very tool that we use to understand the world can sometimes lead us astray. And you know what? You're not the only one. Do you notice these thought bubbles above me right now? Well, I will tell you that those are all thoughts that I have had throughout my life, recurring thoughts for a very long time. But the beautiful thing is, I don't have them anymore. I've learned a lot of things and developed an understanding of where those thoughts have come from. I know that our minds can weave these convincing stories that aren't really true. So today, I'm going to talk about 5 ways our thoughts can lie to us. But most importantly, I'm going to talk about how we can catch them in the act. And therefore, we can learn how to control them, stop them, redirect them. So I have 5 different sneaky ways. I'm going to tell you what they are. Number 1 is the illusion of control. Number 2, the echo chamber of self-doubt. Number 3, the pressure of perfectionism. Number 4, the comparison trap. And number 5, the scarcity mindset. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are or what you're experiencing in life. Most people experience these really awful thoughts that lie to us in these different ways. So we're going to talk about them. I'm going to start with the illusion of control. So our thoughts, what they do is they create this illusion that we can have control over everything. And we tend to believe what our thoughts are. So we start thinking that we can predict outcomes based on our worries. So I want you to picture this. Your brain is convinced it can calculate every single move. For example, we're thinking about some event that we might be wanting to go to. Well, as we're calculating those odds in our head, we start thinking about everything that could go wrong and what could happen. And our thought says, oh, no, you can't go out tonight. Something bad could happen. Or you've got other things that are more important. I bet that might sound familiar to a lot of you. These thoughts really feel so powerful, but in reality, they're just an elaborate game of pretend. By recognizing that we don't have control over everything, it can actually liberate us from this mental prison. When we are stuck thinking we can control our situation, we are locked in to a very uncontrollable situation. So, number 2, the echo chamber of self-doubt. Now, here's where it gets pretty interesting. Our thoughts don't just lie to us, they create an echo chamber of self-doubt. So, have you ever noticed how negative thoughts amplify each other? It's like they're holding a concert in your mind, playing the same tune over and over and over, and it gets louder and louder, just like an echo. And that tune is not the most pleasant thing. It's usually pretty sad or angry tunes that keep playing over. And you might think something like, I will always mess things up. And your mind echoes back about every past situation where maybe you made a mistake. And it just keeps saying it over and over again. And that's all your mind can think about. Well, that's a natural thing for our mind to do because it connects events to each other. So, unfortunately, that drowns out all of our past good things that we've done and the successes that we've had. So, I want you to know, though, you can change this echo chamber and change the echoes to positive things that you can hear that will reinforce positive thoughts and positive feelings, which eliminates the self-doubt. And you can do this, you can change that music, you can change that tune by consciously challenging the negative thoughts or redirecting them, or even just stopping them and replacing them with positive affirmations about things you've done good. You can start to change that playlist to something that is more uplifting. And what a wonderful thing. You get to hear that over and over again. The third one is the pressure of perfectionism. Well, I think it's probably a concept that many of us struggle with. Yeah, I've been there too, when we believe that if we're not perfect, somehow we're failures. But I want you to try to think about perfectionism as a different thing. Instead of a sign of failure, I want you to think about that it simply means that you are striving really hard to do things that are important to you, or that you're deeply invested. Well, that's a wonderful thing to strive, to work, to invest in things that are important to you and goals. However, feeling the pressure to be perfect can really lie to you about your worth when things aren't perfect. So maybe think of perfection a little bit differently. Instead of seeing it as a limitation, saying I can't do it, I can't be enough, I'm not capable, I've made mistakes, reframe it. Just simply say, gosh, I care about this and it's important to me. And that's okay to be imperfect because I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Well, that creates a growth mindset instead of a locked mindset. And that gives us the potential to grow and expand. And it really helps us overcome the fear of growth and the fear of mistakes. Fourth, we're going to talk about the comparison trap. Yeah, we've all done it before, especially in the age of social media. It's easy to fall into that trap of trying to measure ourselves up against others. Who else has done that besides me? And I know we're scrolling through Facebook or some social media and we think everybody's got it figured out. But really what we're seeing is just exaggerated highlights of other people's lives. It's like being at a play, looking at the front stage and all the actors who are dressed and prepared and they know their lines. And behind the stage, a lot of other things are going on. People are stressed, people are worried, people are trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. It's pretty chaos. When they step onto the front of that stage and everything seems to be together because they've been able to pull it together just for that long. Well, social media is a lot like that. We just see the best of what's going on. We don't see what's going on behind the stage. If we can remember that it is just the front stage, we don't have to worry about comparing ourselves to others. Instead, we can just focus on our own journey. We've got front stage and backstage going on just like everybody else does. So let's focus on our own journey rather than this artificial standard that we keep trying to compare ourselves to. The last thing I want to talk to you about today is the scarcity mindset. You know, that mindset that there's never enough. And that could be whether it's time, resources, opportunities. That day you make a list of everything you want to do. And then you think, I've got to get it all done today because I won't have enough time. I won't have the opportunity to do it later, or whatever the case may be. And you can have a list of 20 things and think that you've got to get it done today. You know what that can lead to? A lot of stress and anxiety. So here's the real fascinating part. Just by recognizing this mindset, it can help shift you towards greater abundance. Instead of saying, I'll never have enough time, we can say, I have enough time to prioritize what really matters today. This thought shift opens up possibilities instead of closing them off. In other words, I do have more time. I don't have to do everything today. I've got more opportunity. I can find more resources. That feels so much better. So that was a lot of things to think about, but I want you to remember this more than anything. Your thoughts are simply tools. They're not necessarily truths, and many of them are not. They're shaped by experiences that come with lots of biases and sometimes even outdated beliefs. So, by recognizing when our thoughts might be lying, we can gain the power to challenge them and see the world more clearly. So, anytime we have thoughts that create angst, anxiety, stress, that is the sign to challenge those thoughts. And I gave you 5 different examples of what the mind does. So jot those down and remember that will help you to know when your thoughts just might be lying to you. We can find greater peace and comfort when we recognize when our brain is just spinning tails again. Thank you for writing in, and thank all of you for joining me on this mind bending journey. If you found this to be helpful, please send it to somebody else so we can help everybody who might need it on their path. And until next time, keep questioning those thoughts and remember that, of course, you matter. So your mind matters.